Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It's Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, time for Stamping with Denise. Welcome, welcome. How's everybody holding up? It's been a tough time, but we can stick together. We're going to all get through it. So let me pull this up on my computer and give everybody a second to join us. And we will get there here. Let's see. Okay. Good. Well, here in Michigan today we got the governor said we're supposed to shelter in place. So we had some restrictions, but not a lot of them. Yeah, but now it's pretty much just stay at home. So there'll be some adjustments for a lot of people. I'm still going to work and I'm busy as ever. So I know a lot of Stampin' Up! Demonstrators are doing more Facebook Lives. I'm not really able to do that because I'm still working. But I'm here with you tonight, and that's great. So if you watched last week's video or Facebook Live, we made this cute little carrot. And it's got Easter treats in there. Isn't that cute? Yeah. So if you like what you see and you decide to share my video so that your friends can see it too, you get a chance for me to send you a card. And Lulu Yu shared my video last week, and she was one of the people, and she won. She was chosen, so I will be sending her a card in the mail. It'll probably go out tomorrow. If not tomorrow, Wednesday at the latest. So thank you. I really do appreciate when you do that. Because, a lot of people are stuck at home and they're looking for something entertaining, something fun, something to take their mind off of what's going on. So share the video. You just never know. How about you? What are you doing to fill the time? I'd love to hear what's going on, what you're doing to fill your time with. Like I said, for me, it's kind of business as usual. I'm still working, so that's what I'm doing. I am going to go ahead and put the phone up in the holder, and we are going to get started on tonight's card. Hang tight, and so you don't get motion sickness, and we'll get started. Some of you are just joining. Welcome. I see Lynn and Lori. Hi, guys. You may have missed what I started out last week. I made this cute carrot. And one of my viewers shared my video. And so I'm going to send her a card because she shared my video. So if you like what you see tonight, share it with your friends. And I think you might like tonight's project. I have a fun fold card I'm going to share. Check this out. I just think it's a lot of fun, happy, bright, cheerful. So I'm going to show you how to put this together. Okay? We're going to go ahead and get started. So, where did my base go? Oh, here it is. It's hiding. Some of the prep work I've done ahead of time, some of the die cutting. So you'll have to use I'll set the card right there for a second. Have to kind of use your imagination. Okay. So the base is 5.5 by 8.5 inches. And this is Grapefruit Grove. This is literally my last piece of this cardstock. I'm going to have to get some more. This is one of the 5 colors that's going to be retiring around the end of May. So if this is a color you like, you're going to need to get some. That means the ink, the refills, the cardstock, ribbons, anything like that. Now's your time to stock up. So, and as you can see, I used one of these dies. These are the Stitch So Sweetly dies. And this is the second largest one. I die cut that out on my die cutting machine. Like I said, I'm just saving doing a little bit of, did some of the prep work ahead of time. And then I'll show you what I use that one for here in just a second. Then on the inside of the card, the white part here, that's a piece of our Whisper White cardstock. And that is 5 1/4 by 8. And it's scored at 2 inches and 4 inches, okay? So I am going to go ahead and fold that right now, and you're going to fold it like an accordion. So, and then we won't need that for a little bit, now that I've said that. Okay. Then you're going to have another small piece of Whisper White, around 2 1/2 by 3 1/2 inches, and you're going to die cut, shape out using the third of from the largest of the dies. So you're using the second largest on your cardstock and your third largest on your piece of Whisper White, okay? And like I said, these are the Stitch So Sweetly dies, and they're not, they are on low inventory. So if this is something you're interested in, you need to get this on your order, and I can help you with that. Just drop me a message, text me, you know, get a hold of me, and I can help you make that happen. And for this card, for the sentiment and the flowers and everything, I went back to our annual catalog, and I'm using the Varied Vases stamp set and coordinating punch, the Vase Builder punch. So all the images are from this stamp set, okay? And I guess I'll leave the punch here because we will be using it. And the colors that we're using in ink, of course, we're using Memento Black. We've got Granny Apple Green, Grapefruit Grove, and Gorgeous Grape. So there we go. I love the colors. I love the colors. I knew I wanted to use the Grapefruit Grove for my base, but I didn't know what else to put with it, so got out my color wheel. My son was an art student. He gave me his color wheel, so I was using that to try to figure out what goes together. And I love the brights too. So, and this is our Gorgeous Grape. This is the mini striped ribbon. I love this ribbon. It's easy to tie. It doesn't fray. It's just really nice to work with. It's not very thick, so it flattens nice in an envelope to mail a card. Okay, so let's get started. We'll come back to all of these things in a little bit as our card takes shape. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to start with the stamping on this little white panel here first. So we're going to start out with stamping the shelf and the sentiment. Now you can see on my card, I didn't want my shelf to go past the little stitched lines on here. So I used some Post-it notes to just kind of mask off at the line. I mean, you could go all the way to the end, there's no big deal. But this is just an easy way to help you keep the ink where you want it. So, hang tight here. Okay, there we go. So this is the shelf. It comes with a stamp also that you can fill it in with, but I just left it uncolored. So let's see here. Let's put this here, and I'm trying to get my bottom of my shelf close to the stitching. It's kind of hard to see with my camera or my phone in the way, but we're going to go right about there. And there we go. It's a little crooked, but not too bad. I think it'll work. And then we're going to use the sentiment. Okay. I see Margaret and Karen have also joined me. Welcome. And we're going to put the sentiment, the birthday wishes, right at the top. Sometimes, you know, you just have to commit. There you go. There's that. And I'm going to set those aside for just a second. And as long as I've got the black ink out, I'm going to go ahead and stamp my sentiment on the inside. Okay? And where is that? Yep. And that says, hoping your day blooms with happiness. Okay. Because these are photopolymer stamps and there's not the cushion in them like a red rubber stamp has, that's why I have a little foam mat that I'm stamping on. It helps give a better impression. So, okay, I'm going to put this just slightly over to the right a little bit because we're going to have the flowers on there. And I like to let the stamp sit there for a second. So the ink, there you go. So for now, we're done with that piece. We will come back to that. And we're done with the black. I'm going to set that over to the side too. I'm going to come back to the birthday wishes. And I don't know if you can tell, but this vase is actually stamped on a separate piece of paper and punched out, and it's kind of up on dimensionals, and so are the little flowers. But I have to stamp the stems and the leaves. So we are going to do that. I made myself a little template so I could kind of know where to put it, because sometimes it's kind of hard to put it right, you know, where you want it. And again, I'm going to use a little Post-it note as a mask so that my stems don't go down too far. So the trickiest part for these little vases with the narrow necks is making sure that the stem doesn't go out the side of the vase, because that would not work very well. So I made this little template and it helps me know where to stamp. So I'm going to move this out of the way for a second. And this is my Granny Apple Green ink pad. I'm going to start with my stems. And, you know, what ends up being underneath this vase doesn't really matter, as long as I kind of stay within that area. So I'm going to ink up we're going to do right there. I'll flip it over. Do one going this way. I'm going to make that one a little bit shorter. There we go, like that. There we go. And then I'm going to put one taller right in the middle. Looks like heck underneath, but like I said, that's all going to be covered up by the vase. And I am going to stamp a couple of leaves. I found that those were the trickiest things to try to place. Turn it around. So, right, like that. Like I said, it doesn't look very good, but I have a little stamped out or cut out. See when I put my vase down? Perfect. Just right where I wanted it. So why don't we go ahead and stamp the vase. I have a bunch of little pieces of scrap. This is the perfect thing. We're all done with the green, so I'm going to set it off to the side. So, where's my vase stamp? Oh, here it is. Okay. I'm going to put that in with the gorgeous grape. So on these builder punches, you kind of have to see where the shape is you want to punch out, because sometimes that that dictates where you're going to stamp it on your paper. So I'm just going to stamp this little vase right here. But you'll see what I mean later when I get to the tulips. There we go. I like the way that looks. I love our purples. We have some great shades of purple the Stampin' Up! Mix. That's the nice thing. Stampin' Up! If something is labeled a certain color, like gorgeous grape, like this ink, the ribbon, the cardstock, embellishments, things like that, they match. They are the same shade, and it's great. Now, I did not do a very good job punching out my vase. It's a little off center, but that's okay. You know why? Because I already have one cut, and I've already put dimensionals on the back, so y'all didn't have to watch me fiddle with that. Smart, huh? Because not only am I using the mini dimensionals, some of them are cut in half, so it can get kind of monotonous. So I went ahead and put them on there and then just stuck them on my sheet, so they're all ready to go. The magic of television, right? There you go. Okay. Now we've got the vase and the leaves and the stems. And I'll tell you, the leaves and the stems will be different every time you stamp it. Okay, next thing, we are going to do our tulips. Okay, so I'm going to set this off to the side. There's another piece of scratch paper, or I get a bigger piece here. This is a great way to use up your little scraps of white paper that you might otherwise not have a use for. So the flowers are like this. There's a lines. There's one that has lines that gives you more definition if you want, but there's no need. And I'm going to show you here. Remember when I was talking about how you have to watch where your placement is on your paper when you're punching things out on these builder punches? Okay, I'm just doing a bunch of flowers there. Okay, so let's say I'm punching one out of the middle. Well, look at that. When I punch that out, I've now ruined all of these. So you have to kind of be aware. But I did get the one I did punch out is really nice. So anyway, that's all you have to do on those. They're really fun. I like the builder punches because there's so many things you can do with them. But through the magic of television and some forethought, I already have 3 of them stamped, punched, and with half of a mini dimensional on the back. So I am just going to, actually I'm going to start with this lower one here and kind of build up. Okay, I want this because I want to make sure they all end up at different heights, because you want different heights for interest. There we go. Gosh, I like the way that turned out. It's turned out. There we go. That is all with that. So I am going to go ahead, take a second, and attach it to this piece. Now you could use dimensionals to put it on there, but it makes it even thicker, so if you're going to mail it, it might get a little thick. So because I put these on dimensionals, I decided to glue this straight on the piece of cardstock. Okay. I got a new glue, so it's coming out a little bit heavy. I'm just going to move it around here a little bit. I'm not putting any more out there. Just move it around a little bit. Okay. Put that on there. Good. So what are you doing to keep yourself busy while you're stuck at home? I'd love to know. Okay, that part is done. We will come back to that in just a little bit. Now, we are going to work on this piece. You can see around here I've stamped a lot of the flowers, so we're going to work on that for a minute. And that's why I have this piece of paper on here. And for this card, I have just used the outline, okay? So, just all over. Who wouldn't love to get this bright springy card? Especially with all the crud that's going on now. We're all Brighten someone's day. Make them a card and send it. You know, it doesn't make any difference if it's got mistakes in it. They'd just be happy to hear from you, and that you'd be so happy that you thought of them. So let's put some more around here. Yeah, it's been very stressful at the hospital. Everybody's stressed out about the viral thing and making sure everybody stays safe and has proper equipment. So it's nice to get away and get a little bit of relief. Okay, there we go. I think that looks good. And while I have that out, I will go ahead and we will stamp the inside of the card. You can see what I did here. I have stamped those flowers in a darker color and then filled them in with the lighter color, and I'll show you how it's done. It's really all done with one ink pad. It's so simple. So I'm going to start up here, and I just want them to kind of look like they're cascading down. So lots and lots of flowers. You really, this could be any color. You could make them all different, but that would take a little extra time there. I find I have to, if I'm not careful, they just go back and forth, so I got to get a little bit creative there. There we go. Good. Now, I'm going to take a solid stamp of that image to fill it in. Remember I said it's just one, I'm going to do one more flower right down here to just kind of finish it off. Good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to stamp on here, but I'm going to call it stamping it's what's called stamping off. So I'm removing some of the ink so it's not quite so dark, and then I will stamp it on there. There we go. I got a little bit of ink on here I need to wipe off. Hold on a second, because I'm having a hard time seeing through that. Here we go, that's better. Okay, and I guarantee you I will screw up at least one of these flowers on this card. I did on the one I made, and I'm like, I am not going back and redoing it. So there's one that's a little bit darker than all the rest, but that's okay. That's a great thing when you're like doing flowers and things like that in nature. There's all sorts of different. See, I just did it. Told you. I start talking, then I don't pay any attention. Oh well. Yeah, so, remember I talked about this Grapefruit Grove is going to be gone here in a couple months, at the end of May, beginning of June. There's 5 every year. Stampin' Up! Retires 5 colors. They call them their end colors, and then they add 5 more. So the ones going at the end of May are Grapefruit Grove, Blueberry Bushel, Call Me Clover, Lovely Lipstick, and Pineapple Punch. I love the colors, especially this Blueberry Bushel. So if there's any of those you want or you need to get refills, especially on your ink. You need to do that sooner rather than later, because they're one of the first things to sell out is the ink refills. Okay, so now we're going to do our flower or our leaves. It's the exact same thing. So this time I'm going to try to not make any mistakes. Maybe if I don't talk, I can concentrate. What do you think? Don't take bets. Looks good. Okay, so we'll try this with the Stampin' Off. And I find it's easier, rather than moving my block to make it fit, it's to move the whatever I'm stamping. It's quicker. And there we go. Okay, very good. Those are done too. Yay. Didn't mess up the flowers, or the leaves, just a couple flowers. That's okay. So, we are done with that. Let's bring all of our pieces in. And so the first thing you're going to do is this part, the big part, you're going to adhere into your card right here, into your card base, like that. So let me get the adhesive. So most likely, you know, I don't know. Right now I have my in-person classes on my schedule for April. I'm anticipating that they will probably end up being canceled, and would like to do a class to go. So, if you're interested in that, let me know. I'm still kind of thinking out the details in my head, but it'd be a great time to take advantage of it, give you something to send it to your house, and you'll be able to do it at home in your downtime. Okay, so then this piece is going to go on here, so we're going to close this up just like this, put the adhesive here, put that on there, and we are close to being done. I like to put the adhesive on here rather than on here because you only really want it on half of it. So this way I know I have it in the right place, if that makes sense. Great. There we go. And you know that it fits perfect because you had it closed when you did it. So all I have now is the bow. Where'd my ribbon go? Okay, here's my ribbon. So, two ways to do this. You can wrap the ribbon around here and tie a bow. I'm not good at that. I am bow challenged, and so I am going to show you the way I do it. It's not right, it's not wrong, it's just different. So, for doing it the way I'm doing it, you need probably about 11 inches of ribbon. If you're going to do it where you wrap it all the way around and tie it, probably closer to 22. So we're going to start. I cut off 11 inches of this beautiful, gorgeous grape ribbon. Reminds me of grape popsicles I used to eat when I was a kid. And I put a glue dot on it. One time I had someone say, yeah, you put that ribbon on that white thing and then you stuck it somewhere. But I forgot, people don't know. These are glue dots. And they're great for ribbons and embellishments. And so I'm going to put it right here. Okay? So it's attached there. I'm running this around my card. There you go. Look at that. And bringing it back up. Didn't quite meet. So maybe you need about 11.5 inches, my friends. But that's okay. It won't be a problem. And normally I would have liked to had it overlap, but okay. So then I'm going to, normally I could have used about another 1/4 inch on that, but there we go. What the heck? The glue dot didn't come off. All that nice work getting it all straight, and it didn't have the glue dot on the ribbon. Okay, right like that. Okay, but that's okay because I'll put the bow right over it. Now I'm going to take the ribbon, and I leave it attached to my spool, and I do the bunny ears kind of ribbon or bow. You don't really need a knot. Make the 2 loops and tie those together like that. And then you'll have to kind of play. And see, this ribbon is really nice to work with. It's really easy to get a nice looking bow with this. So look at that. Is that not I like that. That's a good one. Sometimes it takes a couple times, and that's one reason I like to leave one end attached to my spool, because then if I can untie it, you know, if I have to redo it, I've got enough there to do it with. Okay, so we're going to take another glue dot, put it on the, let's see, which side, is there a better side? Nah, this one's good. Sometimes one side of your bow is better than the other. And I'm going to pick up my glue dot, and I'm going to put it right on there. So it hides that little gap I had there. But look at that. It's a fun fold card. Great birthday card. I'm going to trim that edge down there a little bit. So, if you like what you saw, I would love it if you would share with your friends. And you just might, I just might be sending you this card in the mail. Okay? So I want to thank everybody for stopping by, and I'd like to, hopefully you can stop by next week. Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern for Stampin' with Denise. Guys, everybody take care, and thanks for watching. Bye now.